It's funny. We use words all day, every day. But have you ever really stopped to think about what a word is? I mean, on the surface, it seems so simple, but dig a little deeper and you find this incredible hidden world of logic, philosophy, even computer code. So that's what we're going to do today. Let's dive in and peel back those layers.
All right, so let's just jump right into the deep end with the question that's been bugging thinkers forever. What does a word really mean? Is it just the thing it points to out there in the world, or is it something else, like the idea behind the thing?
Well, for a long time, the really smart folks, the logicians, they tried to tackle this by splitting meaning into two big buckets. You can kind of think of it as separating the idea of a word from all the actual stuff in the real world that the word describes. Okay, so bucket number one is what they call the extension. This part's pretty straightforward. It's basically just a list, a collection of all the things out in the world that a word refers to. It's the what. Then you've got bucket number two, the intention. Now, this is the more abstract part. It's not the list of things. It's the definition. It's like the checklist of rules or properties something has to meet to even get the label in the first place. This is the how and why it gets called what it's called. Let's make this concrete. Take the word vehicle. The intention, the idea, is something like a device for transporting people or goods, right? But the extension, well, that's the actual list of all the vehicles. Cars, boats, airplanes, heck, even spaceships. So you've got the definition on one side and the big old list of examples on the other. Seems simple enough, doesn't it? Well, about that. This neat and tidy two-part model works great, right up until the moment it completely falls apart. Yeah, there's this huge puzzle that pops up and proves that meaning has to be way more complicated than just these two layers. And this is where our hero enters the story, a brilliant logician named Gottlob Frege. We're talking around the turn of the 20th century, and he comes up with this seemingly simple puzzle, a puzzle that would just totally revolutionize how we think about language and logic forever. Okay, look at this first statement. The morning star is the morning star. I mean, duh, right? This is what's called a tautology. It tells us absolutely nothing new. It's like saying A equals A. It's true, but so what? It's completely uninformative. But now, get this. Look at the second statement. The morning star is the evening star. Now, that is not trivial at all. In fact, this was a genuine, honest-to-goodness astronomical discovery. This sentence contains real, valuable information about our universe. And that is Frege's puzzle. Think about it. Both the morning star and the evening star point to the exact same thing. Their extension is the planet Venus. So if they both refer to the same object, how can one sentence be totally useless while the other is a massive scientific discovery? How does that work? Frege's solution to this was just genius. He said, wait a minute, we're missing a layer. He introduced a third, absolutely crucial piece of the meaning puzzle that sits right between the word itself and the object out in the world. And this idea, it solves the problem perfectly. Let's break it down. Okay, so what he did was split meaning into two new concepts. First, you have what he called reference. That's simple. It's just the actual object the name points to. So for both morning star and evening star, the reference is the planet Venus. Same thing. But, and this is the key, you also have sense. The sense is the way we think about the object, the mode of presentation, he called it. And those are totally different, right? The bright star you see in the morning is a completely different idea, a different sense, from the bright star you see in the evening. And boom, that's what solves the puzzle. This statement, the morning star is the evening star, is so informative because it's telling us something new about the world, not just about our words. It's revealing that these two completely different senses, these two different ways of thinking, actually point to the very same reference. It's a discovery. So meaning isn't just about what a word points to, it's about how it gets us there. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Okay, that's a cool little brain teaser for philosophers, but what does it have to do with anything? Well, it turns out this distinction has massive real-world consequences. Seriously. especially in a place you might not expect, the courtroom. Okay, check this out. This is a line from the German Penal Code on theft. It says, theft is taking away a foreign movable thing. And the absolute key word here is that last one, sake, which just means thing. So this created a really interesting modern problem. Can you steal electricity? I mean, is electricity a sachet, a thing, according to the law? The entire answer hinges on what the sense of that word is. So what happened? The German courts looked at it and said, you know what, the legal intention of the word sake implies something physical, something you can touch and move. And since you can't really hold electricity in your hand, well, it didn't fit the definition. You literally couldn't be charged with theft for stealing it under that law. They had to write a brand new law just to cover the theft of electrical energy. It's a perfect example of how the sense of a single word can be the difference between guilty and not guilty. And this whole idea brings us right into the 21st century. Because this kind of logical precision that Frege was obsessed with, it's not just for philosophers and lawyers anymore. It's actually the bedrock of our entire digital world. Seriously, every single time you use a computer, a smartphone, anything, you are using a system that is built on these exact principles of formal logic. The whole idea that language and commands can be broken down into super precise, unambiguous pieces, that's what makes all of computer programming possible in the first place. Which leads us to the biggest challenge in tech right now, AI. Modern AI is becoming an absolute master of reference. No problem there. It can sift through all the data on the internet and tell you in a split second that the morning star and evening star both refer to Venus. Easy. But, and this is the big but, can it truly grasp the different senses? Does it understand the human context, the feeling, the poetry of seeing a star at dawn versus seeing one at dusk? And so that's the big looming question we're left with. Not just about technology, but about ourselves. If an AI can perfectly master reference, can it ever truly understand sense?